welcome to this week's vlog. I'm out walking the dogs and it's not early morning. It's actually, well, it's about 4 o'clock and it's getting dark. It is getting dark. It has been one of those days. I wanted to chat to you this morning, but I ran out of time. I actually feel like a dog walker. So many dogs. So I've got Bonnie on the lead there, Lola, Florence, Tess down there, Maud up there, and Penny at my feet. I've got 2 on the lead who keep almost tripping me up. Bonnie has got so naughty at running off to visit the boys down the road that she is on the lead at the moment. And I don't want to risk losing Penny down a hole this evening because I don't have time to lose her in the dark. So they are on the lead. Anyhow, look, it has got really dark. You can barely see me. But it's been one of those days. And hang on, I'm caught in a twist. What have I been doing? So I got up, I was on the yard by 6:05. All stables, horses done by 7, which was a miracle. And then I did Gus's school run, came back, showered and got ready, and then I had my live with my Christmas course. I did some washing, I did some bits and pieces, jobs. Then I went to the post office to post orders. Really big queue, that took forever. Then I went for my facial with Dr. Wendy. I'll show you at home. So lovely to see her, and I am really impressed. I've been seeing Wendy now for about 18 months and the pigmentation hasn't 100% gone, but my overall skin I feel is looking a lot better, and the pigmentation I think is a lot better too. You cannot see right now, can you? I'm sorry, I'm talking to you in the dark. And then I went to hardware store. I needed to buy a new plug for the sink in the tack room to make cleaning tack much easier. Hopefully it fits. It's slightly smaller. I haven't tried it out yet, but I will do. Then I went to see my friend Juliana Heel because I had a few things to sell with her. A pair of boots, which I have worn once, and they're just too trendy. They're too trendy for me, and a cashmere jumper that, again, I've worn once or twice. So I have parted with them. And then I need to tell you about the boot saga. So you may remember, if you've been watching for a while, that when we were in Scotland, on our way back from Scotland, we stopped at the House of Brewer, and Simon bought me a chocolate brown pair of suede boots, and I shared them with you and I showed them to you, but they were just a bit baggy around my skinny little legs and I didn't wear them. And he said to me a couple of times, you haven't worn those boots. Anyway, my friend Zoe, when I was chatting to her last week, said, oh, there's a cobbler in Midhurst that can take them in. So when I had my meeting with Buds and Blooms earlier this week, I dropped them in. And this morning I got a text message from him saying, your boots are ready. So on my way back from Hazelmere in Wendy, I stopped and got the boots. They are perfect. I am so thrilled with them. So I will show them to you on properly, and I am going to be wearing them a lot. Then I stopped to get horse feed, but they were out of stock, which is really annoying. Everywhere's out of stock of what I want at the moment. Anyhow, I came home, was absolutely exhausted. So I went to bed for 45 minutes, which was really naughty. There's lots to be done, but I got up. I thought, get out, take the dogs for a walk. And sometimes when I just feel overwhelmingly tired, and look, I've been getting up at 6 or earlier every day for the last couple of weeks, bound to be a bit tired. So yeah, I had a little power nap and now we're out with the dogs. Anyway, I'm going to concentrate on them and chat to you when I get home. I don't think you're going to be able to see at all, but I've just come up to the kitchen garden to my carrots because I've got to make cottage pie. And actually you can't see. I'm going to show you inside. I am back from my dog walk in almost the dark and pulling carrots. Sorry, you couldn't see that. I should have done it a lot earlier. In fact, I meant to do it this morning, but I'm going to share these boots with you. So last week I shared the Fairfax and Favour ones. So those are very much, you know, worn snugly. These are, you know, I can wear them in the house, I can wear them with a dress, I can wear them with a skirt, I can wear them with jeans. And I am so thrilled. So let me show you up close. I don't know if you can see. He has done the most perfect job. It was quite funny when I went to see him. I ended up getting stitched into the boots because he stood me on pretty much a workbench and stitched them up the back. I'm going to, Florence is trying to get involved as well. But Simon's actually just called and said, darling, can you do the school run? I'm held up. So I was going to start cooking with you guys, but that may have to wait. I am so thrilled. I'll move you so you can see better. It's really difficult this time of year. The lighting is just terrible. But I'm going to move you and then you can see the boots. But I'm going to be living in these now. I don't know how well you can see these, but I'm so pleased with the fit. He's done an excellent job. So if anybody needs boots taking in, get in touch, let me know, because I can put you in touch with him. He's just a very, very small cobbler in Midhurst, between the bike shops, basically, right at the top end. So I'm so excited about these, because it has been a little bit stressful, because Simon has been saying, darling, why haven't you worn those boots? Why haven't you worn those boots? And now I can, and I love the heel height. I don't know if you can see, I love the heel height. It's not too high, it's just perfect. Ooh, I'm walking into the lampshade. Oh my goodness. Anyhow, I must do a few little bits in the kitchen and then go and get Coco. I've got about 10-15 minutes before I need to go and pick Coco up, so I thought actually I'd chat to you a little bit. I'm sorry, the lighting is terrible. I've tried my best, but it's not good. But I think, I don't know what you think and how well you can see, I'll show you tomorrow. But I think the skin is looking pretty good. Wendy did say after today's treatment that the pigmentation might pop a little bit more and then it will settle back down. Sorry, the hair is all disheveled, but anyway. I didn't chat to you properly about my appointment in London and what was said, because I just felt like I needed to kind of process it. I suppose because he didn't tell me what I was expecting to hear, and so I was not thrown by it, but I suppose I just sort of needed to process it. Sorry, the dogs are all running around, and actually the washing machine's going, so there's a lot of background noise. I wasn't expecting him to say what he said. I suppose I convinced myself that my symptoms were perimenopausal, possibly even the menopause, from, you know, various conversations with people and how I was feeling, and how I've been feeling. And actually, Tom said to me, Charlie, you are on the pill, so actually you wouldn't have any of the symptoms of perimenopause because you're on the pill, and it masks all of that. And I'm so pleased he said that to me. And I was with him for over an hour. He gave me so much time and he was so kind, and we chatted through all sorts of things. And then he said to me, have you had COVID? And I said, yes, I had COVID in the summer, and actually it completely knocked me for 6. And because I was talking to him a lot about the hair loss, because that's been so distressing. I mean, it's just, you guys probably can't tell, but it's terrible. I have lost so much hair, and I'm just kind of putting it up in my clip and just putting it to one side, because it's just, what do you do with it? Anyway, there is nothing I can do with it at the moment. But he said one of the after effects of having COVID can be significant hair loss. And you know, I'm not saying, and he was not saying that I've got long COVID, but he said, you know, a lot of this I think is stress. And, you know, I've talked to you guys before about stress. Things financially have been really stressful for a number of years. And because of that, I am running the holiday lets in Devon. I have the B&B at home because that pays for the ponies. I am doing Ask Charlie. I'm doing some catering jobs. There's a lot going on and I'm juggling a lot of balls. But I love what I do and I don't want to stop that. It's just how I manage my time. And I suppose that's why I thought, you know, this afternoon, you're feeling tired, don't push yourself. Go and have a little power nap, recharge your batteries. And it was really helpful talking it all through with him and actually knowing, you know, knowing what's going on. And I said, well, you know, what about the brain fog? And he said, Charlie, that's brain overload. That is because you are spinning so many plates. And I'm not surprised you know, have brain fog and forget things. And, you know, you're doing your best, but you need to try and look after yourself and take it a bit easier. I am back doing my workouts, not every day, about 3 mornings a week. Obviously I'm doing the ponies, so that is quite full on. It's quite hard work. And I'm just being kind to myself, but I definitely, and Simon said this to me, he said, darling, you're so much better when you do your workouts, and it gives me the energy to get through the day. It gives me the endorphins. But again, when I'm doing my workouts, I'm not pushing myself like I used to. If I just do 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it doesn't need to be the full kind of 50 minutes. I'm not doing the high impact stuff. I'm just taking it easy, but I definitely am feeling a lot better having been back doing the workouts. The washing machine is finished, which is excellent. I can hang that out before the school run. So we talked about changing the pill that I'm on. We talked about going on to HRT, and he said, actually, the amount of estrogen that you're getting from the pill that you're on at the moment is higher than what you would have if you went on to HRT. Obviously, there are different levels of HRT and what have you. But for the time being, I am sticking with what I have been doing. I am knowing that I'm not going crackers. I'm knowing that the hair loss is probably COVID related. And do you know what? Since I've known that in the last couple of days, when I've been washing my hair, I don't think so much is coming out, just in the knowing that, you know, there's not something else going on. So that is good. So it's all positive, and I am putting my best foot forward. I am listening to that audiobook that I told you about. I haven't finished it yet, but I might have finished it by the end of this week's vlog, so I shall share that with you. But it's definitely very, very interesting, and the mind is so powerful. And I think, you know, that in knowing that my hair's not falling out because I'm perimenopausal, just knowing that is enough to have slowed down the hair loss. I mean, obviously every time you wash your hair, brush your hair, whatever, some hair comes out, but it's definitely reduced, so fingers crossed. Anyway, I am going to stop prattling to you. I'm going to go and get my girl, and I don't think I'm going to do any cooking with you tonight because it's just too dark, and I think it's better if I do it tomorrow morning. Although tomorrow I have got to get all the cooking done because it's for a catering job on Saturday. It's just 18 people, it's cottage pie and some cakes. It's relatively straightforward. But Coco's got a church service at school in the morning and Gus has got a church service in the afternoon. And in a dream world, I'd like to be at both, but I have said to both of them, I'm not sure if I can. I will do my best, and I will just see. And it is about doing our best. There's no point running ourselves ragged. It's a bit like the whole oxygen mask thing. You've got to put yours on first before you put everybody else's on, otherwise you are no good to anyone. Anyway, I'm gonna have a swig of my tea that's keeping warm on the Arga and get in the car. And I'm sorry, all the washing's drying behind us, but it's just a perfect drying place. I don't know, you've probably all seen this, I don't know that, maybe some new people. Let me show you quickly. Look at that. And a few people have said, actually on TikTok, and I'm getting so much better with TikTok, I'm not bothered about it. In fact, I'm finding it pretty funny, and the negative comments help the algorithm. I am homing in on that. They've said, oh, doesn't it get greasy up there? It actually doesn't. I don't know. Other Argo users, sorry, Tess is having a drink of water. Other Argo users, does it get greasy? And it does get a little bit greasy sort of down here, and I keep that clean. But I don't find my Sheila's Made up there ever gets greasy. I don't know. Do you? Let me know. Good morning. You can actually see me. We have got daylight. Yesterday was ridiculous. It's amazing how quickly it gets dark. You know, just suddenly. But these are the carrots that I picked in the dark. Look at those beauties. I am so pleased I put in those carrot tubs. If I have time today, I'll take you back up there and show you. But it is a bit of a crazy day. I've got a catering job for tomorrow for 18 people. And actually it's really simple. They just want cottage pie and veg. And then I've got a couple of cakes to make. But I've still got to do it. I was hoping to get a bit of this done last night, but actually I had a Zoom call with my Efficient Home course. It's the first time I've done a Zoom call, and it was so lovely. It was so heartwarming and just gorgeous, and it was a really special hour. I loved it. So I kind of focused on that. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to cook and do that, and actually the Argo drops temperature, so I thought, you know what? Don't bother, tomorrow is a new day. So I'm going to get these chopped up. I have been crying. The onions, these are from the kitchen garden, and I've got some celery that I've just diced up as well. Those were seriously potent. And I'm a bit slower to start this morning because Archer's gone to A&E. He's fine. It's just his toes. Possibly 2 broken toes, mucking around, playing football without any trainers on last night, and yeah, so he is currently in A&E waiting for an X-ray, so that has waylaid me, and it's so horrid not being able to jump in the car and be there, but it is only toes. I'm keeping it in perspective. Anyhow, right, let's sort these carrots out. I have Penny and Florence wrestling at my feet. So I'm just going to pop some olive oil into my Big Le Creuset. I am throwing in my chopped onions, my carrots, and the celery. A couple of pinches of sea salt in there. And I'm just going to cook these for about 5 minutes until they've softened. Once your vegetables have softened, add in some tomato paste. I'm adding in about 2 tablespoons. Now this is obviously quite a big cottage pie. I'm doing it in 2 batches for the lunch that I'm cooking for. So this is using 2 kilos of mint, which I'm going to add in a minute, but I'm just going to cook that tomato through with the vegetables for a mo. And now I'm adding in the mince. So that is 2 kilos of lean beef. So this is cottage pie. Shepherd's pie is if you use lamb mince. And you want to cook the mince, and just bashing it all up, you want to cook it until it's browned all over. When your mince has browned, I am adding in some freshly ground black pepper, a couple of tablespoons of Lea & Perrins, the original and genuine Worcestershire sauce. This, I think, is essential with cottage and shepherd's pie. And a tablespoon of HP sauce, if I can get it out. Give it a good mix through. It is boiling. I'm going to add in my beef stock. I don't want it to be too liquidy. I put more liquid in when I'm making bolognese. I don't want it to be a really sloppy cottage pie. I might just add a little bit more in there. And I am then going to put the lid on and pop this into the simmering oven of the Aga for at least an hour, maybe longer, just to see. But at least an hour in there. So in it goes. I've just put the cottage pie, or the mince, into the simmering oven, and I'm going to leave that there while I prep the next batch. Now, I'm sorry, if you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you'll see that I've already shared this recipe, but I'm cooking it, and I thought, you know what, bring you guys along, because I know not all of you watch my Instagram as well, so anyhow. But I want to tell you about Em. Em is here. You may hear her crashing about. So Em is a really old friend. She has known Simon for many, many years, and she has come to help for a few hours a week because, and I talk about this a lot on the Efficient Home course, if you are struggling to do it all, there is no harm in outsourcing, and I can't do it all. And so I talked to you about, you know, being kind to myself, being a bit exhausted at the moment, feeling a bit frazzled. It's really invaluable having Em, and she's actually an angel, bless her. She'll turn her hand to anything from gardening to helping me in the kitchen to doing a B&B turnaround just for a few hours a week, but it just takes the pressure off me. And if I haven't had a chance to do everything, then I can just say, Em, could you do that today? And it's amazing. So she really is an angel. So she's currently upstairs scratching around, but you may hear background noise and think, what is going on? I have got Em in my life, and I am so grateful for her. Right, I'm now going to prep the next batch of cottage pie and then get started on the potatoes. I'm just taking the carrot ends up to the compost, check on the horses, and I need to get a couple of onions. All of the onions that I grew in the kitchen garden, I'm actually keeping at the moment in the greenhouse. They sort of dried out in there, and it seems to be the perfect environment for them at the moment. So I need to get a couple more onions for my cottage pie. Here are the ponies. I'm going to tip this on, and actually I thought I could take you over in daylight to the carrot bed. So let's just tip those in there. Where's the stinky muck heap? And in to the kitchen garden we go. I need to spend some time in here. I haven't been super busy on other things, so my dahlias need cutting down and the weeds and various things. But look, I've picked quite a lot from that bed, and there is the other one. They are looking good, which is excellent. I didn't close this gate, so we'll go round this way into the greenhouse. The greenhouse needs a bit of a sort out, but yeah, lots of things need a bit of a sort out. I'll get round to them at some point, but it is, I know I've said this a few times. Actually, let's go and see Colin. He's there, looking like he wants to say hello. In fact, I should have picked him a carrot. You gonna come and say hello? Mummy, have you got a treat for me? I actually haven't got a treat for you at the moment, Colin, but I will come back later and give you one. You look at my handsome boy. He's so gorgeous. So gorgeous. Anyway, I must get on with this cooking. So into the greenhouse we go for a couple of onions. And here are my onions drying. Just choose a couple of big ones. Ooh. But look, they're so good. I need to put all of those pots away. Anyhow, let's go and chop these up. I have just realised that I did something very stupid and didn't add any garlic in before I added the mint. So I am using Pollyanna's Garlic-ish garlic oil. I'm just going to give it a stir, and I'm going to put a dessert spoon of this in here, like so. And that's what you can do if you can forget something. Just add it in. Because my recipes most of the time are in my head, sometimes my head is elsewhere, especially when I'm chatting to you at the same time. Now I have just chopped those onions, those ones didn't make me cry quite so much, and carrots and celery, and that is all prepped for the next batch. I also don't think I told you, which I may have done, sorry if I'm repeating myself, I didn't peel the carrots, I just gave them a good scrub. There's so much goodness in the skin that actually, why bother peeling them when you can just give them a good scrub and chop them up and you're keeping that goodness in. Anyway, I'm going to pop this back in the Aga and get going with the second batch. I have got the second cottage pie, well the mince doing behind me. And now it's time to make lemon drizzle cake. And I've got a lemon which I'm going to zest first, my microplane. I love this. When you zest, and some of you may be bored of me telling you this, but you just want to keep rotating the lemon around so you are not taking the pith off, you're just taking the zest off, and that way it's not bitter. So constantly turning your lemon. Until you've taken all the zest off, and I'm just going to pop that to one side. I have got my Kenwood here, my scales and a loaf tin, and I've just put a liner in, but if you don't have a liner you can just use some baking paper, but it is really important that you do line your tin. So I'm just going to take this out and pop it on my scales and weigh out the ingredients. It's 170 grams of softened unsalted butter, and I will leave the recipe linked for you. The recipe is actually in my afternoon tea bundle, so if you'd like my afternoon tea recipes, they are available on my website. 170 grams of butter in here, and then 170 grams of caster sugar. I've just had a phone call from Art to say that he's had his x-ray. His toe isn't broken, thank goodness. Such a relief. It's just badly bruised. So he's going to be hobbling around for a little bit. Caster sugar, and then you want to cream your sugar and butter together. I'm using my K-beater. Just turn those on. Those are nicely creamed together, and just add in one egg at a time and whiz it up in between. That's after one egg, and just add in the next. If it starts to curdle, you can add in a little bit of flour. So we're using self-raising flour, and pretty sure it's 170 grams of self-raising flour. I'm going to measure out my flour so it is ready, just in case it curdles after I put the next egg in. So let's go in with the third egg. I'm really missing not having our own chickens, but Simon was quite sensible. He knew that there was likely to be bird flu, and so he said, darling, I think you should hold off. So I'm holding off at the moment, but I'm really missing not having our own eggs. We're just going to scrape down the sides just to make sure it's all properly mixed together. Let's give that another quick whiz. That is looking pretty good. I'm going to add in my lemon zest now. Do that and just scrape all of that in and wipe that on there. And then I'm just going to add the flour in as well in one go. It's a super easy cake recipe and I feel utterly delicious. So slowly turn it on as you're going to get a face full of flour. And that is quite a thick consistency. So I'm adding, and I've just had it here warming slightly, up to 4 tablespoons of milk. You don't want your milk to be cold from the fridge, but just, you can either heat it, very gently in a pan, or just put a jug beside the agar or however, but just not straight from the fridge. I'm going in with 4 because it's looking quite a thick consistency. But you can slowly add the milk and just see. Voila, it's done. Always check the recipe to make sure that you have put all the ingredients in. That is important, as I showed you earlier with the garlic. Right, I'm just going to scrape that off. Now, I mentioned yesterday that I had 2 church services to try and get to today. Actually, last night Coco said, Mummy, you're not allowed to come to ours. So that was a relief. Parents haven't been invited, and actually I hadn't seen an email, but she was taking part in the service. So she had to look very smart this morning with her blazer, and I put plaits in her hair. So at least that's one thing less to do without feeling guilty. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it to Gus's church service. I did warn him that I might not go because I've got a lot to do today, but we'll just see how we are doing for time. Now you want to get this into your tin without it going everywhere. So we'll just carefully plop that in. And then just try and spread it out. It doesn't need to be perfectly even, but you do want to get it out a little bit. I'm looking for another spoon. Where's my milk spoon? There. Just scrape. Ooh, I didn't want that to happen. And then I'm going to pop this into the agar, into the baking oven for about 45 minutes. Now I will need to use my plain cold sheet. If you are using a fan oven, you want it to be at about 180. And you want it just to be golden on top. But I know if I leave mine in the agar for 45 minutes, it's going to be a bit too crisp on top without sliding the plain cold sheet in. So there we are. And I want to put it in the middle of my oven, so I'm just going to move my rack up. I'm I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes. Alexa is not working at the moment. I was just telling you that she wasn't working, and then she started talking to me. Our router isn't working, so we've actually got two routers. I put an aerial on the roof and we use EE whatever. I'm just so bad at this stuff. But this possibly could be quite a monumental day. We will see. I'm not holding my breath. I got an email from BT Openreach to say that, with our postcode, to say that fibre, is it called fibre? I don't even know, is available to our property. And in theory, they're supposed to be connecting it today or doing something. Simon did tell me last night, he was like, they will need to come and do other stuff. So it's not going to be up and running today, but we are making progress in the right direction. I have waited about 3 years for this moment. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it happens soon, and it will actually be quite life-changing for us, because our instincts, we have just got terrible Wi-Fi, all the rest of it. It is a lot better with the EE thing on the roof. It does mean that I can do things in the house, which I couldn't do before, but it is a little bit temperamental. It's slightly weather dependent, and it does drop in and out quite often. So this could be quite life-changing. Anyway, I'm having a matcha. My cake is in the oven. My second cottage pie is doing. I'm about to take that one out and start doing the potatoes. So I must clear the decks. But first of all, a matcha. It's my rocket fuel. Such good stuff. I should have said my discount code, Charlie10, off matcha, leelinton.co.uk.com. I can never remember. I will link it down below. There's a discount code for you, which is brilliant. Time for the potatoes. I'm using British red potatoes because they're really good for mashing. An OXO potato peeler. These are the best thing ever. I'm going to tell you a funny story. One Christmas, we had an au pair here, and I don't know what happened. I actually think that by accident, she threw the potato peeler away because it disappeared. It completely and utterly disappeared. And I had a big catering job where I had to do a lot of peeling. And I didn't have a potato peeler, and there wasn't time to order one online. And I went everywhere to try and find a decent potato peeler, and I couldn't. And OXO are the best. Trying to peel potatoes with a useless potato peeler is a miserable experience. And I just couldn't work out where this potato peeler, how could a potato peeler completely and utterly vanish into thin air? So that's the only thing I can think is by accident it went out with rubbish. She was our last au pair. She was, bless her, she was interesting. We had some wonderful au pairs, and actually quite a few of them I'm still in touch with. The children gave them funny names. So we had Ulla. Ulla is married. She actually met her now husband while she was here with us. She met him on Facebook. I don't think Instagram was a thing in those days. And she went back to Italy, they got together, they are married and have a baby, which is terribly exciting. And then Isa was another wonderful au pair. She was Spanish, such a gorgeous girl, and she's just had a baby boy, Nico. And it's so lovely keeping in touch. We're not in touch with all of them, but those two, and then Babs. Babs, Archie named her Babs. She was our first au pair. She came when Coco was born. Hang on, let me get a knife. And she was just wonderful. She was wonderful. She was so kind and gentle. and lovely. And we weren't going to get an au pair. It was a friend who said to me when I was heavily pregnant with Coco, she said, Charlie, you're going to need some help. Have you got any help? And I was like, no, it will be fine. Hang on, I'm going to come back to that in a minute. So I'm just chopping the potatoes into chunks. You don't want tiny chunks because they take on too much water. Italians actually cook potatoes with the skin on so that they don't absorb too much water and they taste better. But if you've ever tried peeling a potato once it's been boiled, it's quite a faff. So we're going for the easy option of chopping them first. But there you go. Hang on, what was I saying? Where was I? Yes, so my friend said to me, there's a lovely girl called Barbara who has just left working for a family, and I know that she doesn't want to go back to Italy yet. Would you be interested in, you know, me giving you her details? And Babs arrived literally the day I came home from hospital, and she was just wonderful. So we're still in touch with her too. Anyway, let's crack on and get these done. The potatoes are all peeled and I have just covered them with cold water. It's really important that you cook root vegetables where you put cold water over them and bring them to the boil. Any veg that grows above ground, so peas and beans and things like that, you can put boiling water on them and then cook them that way. But root vegetables prefer cold water. My 20-minute timer for my cake has just gone. So, let's have a look. Just beginning to look good. And now is the time to slide your plain cold sheet in. And that just deflects the heat from the top of the agar, so it will stop the top from burning. It's really important that you don't keep it in the agar and it's cold, otherwise it won't work. That's why it's called a plain cold sheet. So you just slide it in above and that will stop the top from overcooking. I'm just waiting for the potatoes to boil and I've got the post in, and I'm not going to read you the whole letter, but this is from my gynecologist. And he said, I do wonder whether her symptoms are simply due to the fact that she has such an incredibly busy life. So that's kind of summed it up. But really, really helpful to have gone and seen him and spent time with him and gone through everything and know kind of what's going on. And I think it's just in the knowing. And actually, let's talk a little bit, because I finished the audiobook, which is called How to Do You. And whilst it wasn't quite what I was expecting, she talks a lot about her own personal experiences, which is always, you know, helpful and interesting to hear. It's very good at giving kind of case studies and talking through different scenarios of how to do you and not worry about everybody else. And I think the brain is so fascinating that in me just knowing that actually it is just because I've got a crazy busy life and I've got loads going on and I love my life, but it is quite full on and it's wonderful. I know I'm saying this again, it's wonderful having Em's help. Knowing that, I feel so much better already. It's amazing how the brain works. Anyway, I hope these potatoes boil soon because I need to get out and walk the dogs. But I think now I'm going to have to wait till the cake's done and then get out. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here, which is lovely. It's not cold at all. Unseasonably warm for this time of year. I probably could go out for a walk and just this, obviously take my apron off, although I have been known to go for a dog walk with my apron on before. They are finally boiling. So just move them across. If I didn't have, I've just realised you're wonky. Sorry about that. I've just realised, no, I haven't just realised that, I've just said that. Oh my goodness, I'm going bonkers. It's because I'm thinking about Archie. I'll tell you about that in a minute. If I didn't have the other mince in the simmering oven, I would put the potatoes in the simmering oven, keep the lid down and keep the heat in. But my ovens, my ovens are all rather full at the moment. Archer's just messaged to say that he is putting arnica on his foot, and he's resting his back in his boarding house, and I am going to just get a box ready to post up to him. So I thought that actually we might do that together. I keep Amazon boxes and use them again. He has requested pot noodles. He particularly likes those after he's been playing rugby, but I'm not sure if he will be playing rugby for a little while. We'll just wait and see how he gets on. So I've got 3 pot noodles for him and some sweets from Haribo. I'll just shove those in there. A little bit of bubble wrap. Again, I keep all of my packaging and just reuse it. I've got a couple of Ask Charlie orders that I need to wrap up. I shall write a little note and put that in there, go to the post office and send that up to him. I think it's always so lovely receiving things in the post, and I know that it will certainly brighten up his day getting a box of some goodies from Mummy. I'm just sitting here wrapping up orders, and actually I thought I'd share with you my diary. Very exciting. I'll just put that there. So I've got 2 options for you this year. This is the original, so this is the 3rd year we have done this diary, and now we have the diary and planner. So this is the regular diary, which has a monthly recipe. It has, let me show you July, so things to do in the garden and seasonal fruit and veg, and then a monthly budget planner and notes, and then a recipe, and then a week per page, like so. The difference with this one is it's a little bit bigger. So this is A5. I don't know what size you'd call this. It's not A4, it's bespoke to me. I didn't want it as big as A4, but I wanted it to be bigger because we have added in, I'm so excited about these. Oh, I also haven't shown you that page. So January, you've got events, general, personal and birthdays. So you can write your birthdays in there. So that's the same in that smaller diary. But each week has got one of these. So you can plan your week really carefully. It has got Monday through to Sunday and from 8 till 8, and tomorrow's focus and notes, and next week. So that is really helpful for you to kind of plan your week more carefully. So that is the difference between the 2 of them, and they are available now on my website, which is super exciting. So I am just going to finish wrapping up this order. I put a little handwritten message in with every order, wrap them in tissue, and then I'm going to wrap this up, put the address label on. Yeah, so very exciting about those. And Florence is having a scratch behind us. I also have lots of other things on my website which are really useful, all planned to make life easier. So there's recipe planners and all sorts of things. So if you haven't taken a look, go and take a look. But I'm going to crack on and get this in the post. My lemon drizzle cake is almost ready, so I'm going to make the syrup. I'm going to weigh out 110 grams of icing sugar into a small pan. And then my lemon that I zested earlier, and another lemon, so 2 lemons, chop them in half, and we're just going to juice these. I've got a juicer at the ready. And just squeeze the juice out of your 4 halves, and then pour the juice onto the icing sugar like that. And then on a gentle heat, just let that icing sugar melt into the lemon juice. And I've got my potatoes on my gentle heat. See if they're ready. Yes, they are. When you can get a knife easily in, they are ready. So I'm going to just pop those here for a moment and put that on. I'm getting a skewer. Move this out of the way. Look at that. Take your plain cold sheet out. Always got to remember to do that. And then to know if your cake's ready, pop a skewer in the middle, and if it comes out clean, it's done. And so that is done. And you want to put loads of holes, go for it, over the top to pour our syrup in, and then it soaks into the holes and just puts deliciousness throughout the cake. So lots of holes. Let's just see if there's any more lemon juice that's dripped through a little bit. In that goes. Give that a stir. I'm going to drain these potatoes now. Icing sugar has completely dissolved. I don't want to burn myself. I've got lots of holes. In fact, I can see I could do with a few more down this side. You can't get enough holes in it, to be honest. Go for it. And I find it's best to do it while the cake is still warm. So slowly, this is going to take a good probably 5 minutes. Slowly pour over your syrup and let it absorb in. And just do it slowly. Once it's just then leave it, let it do its thing, and then pour a little bit more on. I'm just going to move that out of the way. And now I'm going to tackle the mashed potatoes. In fact, let's just move. That's cool enough now. Our potatoes need mashing. I like to do mine by hand. I have got here a potato ricer. Now, if I was serving mashed potatoes on a plate as a side, then I would use the potato ricer. But for cottage pie, I think you can get away with it not being perfectly smooth. I'm going to steam my face at the same time. So before I add anything in, I'm just going to give them a good mash. I like a metal masher because I just find them more robust. This I've had for years, since I lived in London, pre getting married to Simon. I've had this masher in my life. We've been through a lot together. So give your potatoes a really good mash first. Then I'm just going to add a little bit more syrup. Try and get it down the holes if you possibly can. And now I need to get the butter. I'm using salted butter and a good knob of salted butter. In that goes, and some milk. And I find you can always add more, so don't get too carried away adding lots of butter and milk at this stage. You can always add to it. Butter in there for a mo while I get my sea salt. So when I'm cooking and got like a big job, I mean this isn't a big job, but you know, it's just sort of back to back and I'm doing things at the same time, and I just use my time really wisely. Although I have, I'm not going to make it to Gus's church service, but that is okay. I had preempted it with him and said, darling, I don't think Mummy is going to be there. Don't be disappointed if you don't see me, because he's breaking up. He's got an ex-out weekend, so he finishes a couple of hours earlier today than he normally would. So I need to get lots done. So I've salted it, and now I'm going to use white pepper. I use white pepper for mashed potato, and I'm just going to mix that through. My butter has now melted, so that makes it a lot easier. Now when I'm doing mashed potato for cottage pie, for shepherd's pie, I don't want, it doesn't have to be perfect, and I don't want it to be too sloppy. I want it to be still a little bit firm. You don't want slop on your plate, because I think that's just pretty off-putting. Right, that I think is pretty good. I do need to taste it and just check the seasoning. But let's add a little bit more of this on. Florence is just coming to see what I'm up to. Hello, little one. So, taste test. I think that is pretty good. I'm not going to add anything else to that mashed potato. And I know lots of you will be saying, oh Charlie, you can do it like this and you can do it like that, but I find it's quite a good arm workout. In fact, I should swap and use the other arm as well. Right, let's make way here. Here is my cottage pie. Let's just get that, give it a stir through. And again, I'm going to check the seasoning. It is really important to check, particularly when it's a catering job, that it tastes all right. Make sure you use a clean spoon, that you're not double dipping. It's good. That is really good. Spot on. Here I've got a dish which I've just washed up. I keep my big dishes in the garage, so I've just washed a few of them up. And we really are multitasking today. That to one side. Slotted spoon for this. Move that out of the way. I don't want my cottage pie to be, as I've just said, too sloppy. So using the slotted spoon just takes some of that liquid out. I'm just going to put a layer. I'm hoping I'm going to have enough between this one and the other one to do three dishes. A good layer of mince in there. A non-slotted spoon, and just pop your mashed potato over the top. Grumbling dogs. I always find putting the mashed potato on a little bit fiddly. I don't want to squash the mashed potato down and really flatten it, so I'm just using quite a delicate touch, making sure that I've gone into all the sides and corners. I was once asked if I would make a cottage pie for Prince William. It never actually happened, but I was asked a long time ago. Yeah, so I can't say that I have cooked for Prince William. I was asked, but the plans changed and the evening didn't happen. But he had requested cottage pie, and the friend that asked me knew that I made a mean cottage pie. So, it's always nice to be asked. And that is that one almost done. Grated cheese is the finishing touch, but there we are done with that. And here is some grated cheese. And I just sprinkle that over the top. You don't have to add grated cheese, but I just think it adds an extra deliciousness to it. Pop that to one side and just put the last bit of syrup over this. And then leave it to cool in your tin. Don't take it out until it's completely cooled. And it's easier with baking paper if it's slightly over the edge. Once it's cooled, I'll be able to wiggle it out, but that is a delicious cake. I urge you to make one. In fact, I'm feeling hungry just looking at it. I'm going to cover this in cling film, and when it's totally cooled, I'm going to put it in the fridge, and then when I heat it up for tomorrow, I will cook it until it's golden and delicious on the top, and I'm going to serve it with leek and peas. I'm not going to be able to take you with me tomorrow because it's not fair on the client. And then the cake, once it is cooled and I can take it out, I will put it on a pretty plate and slice it up and serve it for tea. I'm out walking the dogs and it's nice that actually you can see me. You can see me today. I've got out a lot earlier, which is good. I need to leave in about half an hour to go and do the school run and go to the post office as well. Our post office is just at the end of the road. It's quite a long road, but it's really, really handy. I've got these two on the lead. I've just put on a gilet because I walk quite quickly and I get quite hot. So this gilet is from Jack Payne from Mole Country Stores, moleonline.co.uk, I think. I linked to it last week and it's just really handy. It's covered in the pony's grey hairs. Yeah, anyhow, I'm going to end this week's vlog here because, well, when I finish my walk, I need to jump in the car, pick up Gussie, well, do the post office, pick up Gussie, and then actually take him and do a food shop because I haven't had a chance to do that for a few bits. I don't need to get very much, a few bits for tomorrow's lunch. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching a bit of cooking and catching up on various things that I'm going to enjoy being in the countryside for a little while. Anyway, I'm sending you lots of love and I will see you again next week. I don't know if you can see the water through there and also there, but that is all flood water. The river has well and truly burst its banks, so we're not going to be crossing the river for a long time. It may even be until next year until it's gone down.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy we go, easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond all. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching